So next up in the 2023 MIVA Media Day is Loyola, which is kind of going to get me, take me a while to not associate John Hawks with the West Coast, but I'll get there. Coach, thank you for joining us. Can you start us off with a opening statement and introduce your student athletes?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, there's Nick Martinsky joining us as a grad transfer from Ball State, and Jack Yentz, who's a fourth-year student who is now an outside hitter for us. So yeah, I guess opening statement. So yeah, new place, new university, new student athletes. Super excited about the opportunity to compete in a terrific conference with some awesome coaches. And I know that we're looking forward to the challenge. We started today, so guys are just getting off of lifting. But it's awesome to be back and just so fortunate to be around these great student athletes.
So first question will go to Vinny. Vinny, go ahead.
Yeah, two questions here. First for Coach. I had an opportunity to talk to you in the summer when you're kind of just hired. You've now had an opportunity to work with your team a bit. What has stood out for you the most about this group of players, now seeing them in the gym compared to maybe only seeing them, on film?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Vinny. The first thing that comes to mind is how hard these guys work and how close they are as a team. Recruiting, you bring in guys, and it's watching our guys host these student athletes and how they interact with each other and how they support each other. This is an extremely tight-knit group, and I feel like we've made some really good headway with developing new systems and new cultures, and I'm super excited about this group. They're just a bunch of great guys, and we just had our GPA of 3.5 for last semester as a total for our team, which is outstanding. So I know we can do better, but these guys put a lot on the plates, and they're just terrific student athletes.
And then question for Nick. You had a great career at Ball State. You had lots of options this offseason for you. What was it about Loyola that made you want to come here?
I'm from the Chicago suburbs, I guess. I'm sure a lot of people will crucify me for not being actually from the true suburbs of Chicago, but some of the surrounding ones. And so being able to come home and be closer to family and having a good program for my master's was a big driver for that.
And then Coach Hawk, what was your reaction when Nick approached you in the offseason, the opportunity to get him on your roster?
It's funny. I took the job, and Nick was one of my first calls. Actually, was the first commit, and just how he answered questions and how we interacted on the phone. It was, I think, a natural fit and a no-brainer. And I got a chance to see him play in the Final Four back in LA, and just how he was with his teammates on the floor. And you just tell by talking to him on the phone, he's going to be a tremendous addition to our team.
Coach, you've coached under some legendary head coaches. Can you kind of just go through what lessons you've learned from each of the coaches that you've been an assistant under?
Wow. Yeah, I learned that, from Coach Sprague, just being super detail oriented. I think, working with him for as many years as I did, there's just so many things that I'm going to do and emulate. I love him as a person mostly, but, as a coach, I admire him. And yeah, there's going to be some things we do different, but yeah, I think just being detail oriented and thinking about systems and that now with Alan Knipe. Been a while, but I think there's a defensive intensity, more of a block focus with Allen. So that was great. I think working with Rick McLaughlin on some Pan Am Cup teams. Rick is real competitive. So I like that. I think all these coaches are super competitive, but Rick stands out to me with that. And yeah, just some others that you know I've learned a lot from. Andy Reid, great in the gym, great personally. Spencer McLaughlin, great interpersonal skills. Brad Keller, just fun to be around, one of my best friends. So yeah, I take a lot from everybody.
I'll go, JB. Sorry, Vinny. I'll jump in. Coach, good to see you. Good to talk to you. I'll keep it a little bit lighthearted. We could go into the deep, serving conversation and fun stuff like that, but let's keep it a little bit lighter right now.
I appreciate that.
Are you going to be able to maintain your Dodger fanship while you are in the greater Chicago area with 2 other baseball teams there? And I better hear a good answer on this one.
You know what? I'm a Dodger fan through and through, and that's not changing. It's disappointing to see JT leaving and some of these guys leaving, but no, I got an opportunity to throw a first pitch out at the White Sox game, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it at the Cubs. I think that'd be pretty cool too. But yeah, I'm a Dodger fan.
I think it's actually fine to be a White Sox fan because it's a different league. I think if you became the Cubs fan, I think that's when it's an issue. I think.
Okay, that sounds right. Let's go with that.
I'm picturing this scene of you throwing out the pitch at Wrigley Field and Dodgers hat and getting booed. But we'll digress on that. We won't talk about serving right now, but I do want to talk about the other component of that, and that's passing. And Jack, I want to ask you. You have really refined the craft the last couple of years in the passing game. Can you kind of just take us through how you have been able to become such an effective passer? What do you do in practice? How are you able to really fine tune the craft?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has been learning from coaches that we've had, and I've obviously learned a lot from our past coaches, and I've already in a semester learned a lot from Hawks. It's not just doing it one way, it's knowing how to do things multiple different ways, and just you get good at what you spend your time on. I pride myself on being a guy that'll go in for extra reps, and I try to bring people along, and hopefully we can just keep that up and become a really refined passing team here at Loyola, not just individuals.
Piggybacking on that, Loyola was second in the nation in digs per set last season. So, Coach, how important is it for you and kind of coming into this program of, keeping that as part of the hallmark for this team?
Yeah, that's really important. I didn't know that stat. I didn't know that high digs per set. That's awesome. It's yeah, I think we take a lot of pride in as a staff and hopefully preparing and training our guys to be great on the defensive side of the net. I mean, I'll give it to these guys to answer that question. I mean, we focused on it, so I don't know, maybe they can answer it better than I can. Jack or Nick, you guys want to handle that?
Yeah, I mean, I think since day one, you've come in with the philosophy of that. It's just the mentality of just not letting balls hit the floor. And I think a lot of guys have already known that, but have continued to gravitate towards that mentality. And just all the guys, especially us older guys, with having 7 freshmen come in and just holding everybody accountable to that. So I think that we're on the same page and right direction to kind of continue that.
Another lighthearted question for Nick and for Hawks. Since you're the new to Loyola, have you two met Sister Jean yet?
I've met Sister Jean a few times and had some nice conversations with her, but yeah, she's going to be a staple in our gym.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she's made an appearance at a practice already this year. She honestly gets around a lot. I've seen her all over campus, this campus or our one downtown in the Loop. So she gets around. So I have had to talk to her before, and it's a cool experience to talk to somebody like that. Very sharp for her age.
That's right.
2 questions here for you. Jack, you were on the team last year, so and the only one on the Zoom was. What do you see is as the biggest difference between last year's team and this year's team?
I think the biggest difference is just the more narrowed focus and the drive to win. I think the guys that we brought in this freshman class and like transfers like Nick Martinsky, who's done it before, he knows how to win. And then just everyone's kind of collectively like here, really committed to the volleyball program, committed to what Hawks is, how he's going to get us there and how we're going to eventually, do it, get it done.
And then, Coach, one of the big differences that fans will notice this year with Loyola is, along with you on the sideline, there will be a new starting setter. Can you kind of take us through the kind of battle for the starting setter position, what you're seeing from some of the players battling out, and what we can expect from those players?
Yeah, so I think Dan Mangun is and Brian Voigt are two returners, and then we have a freshman in Ryan McElligott in that other setting spot. They all do very unique things. Ryan's a lefty who's pretty athletic and can turn and hit on two. Dan looks the part. He's got a great serve. Is working through his tempos and his timing and his connections and all that, just like Brian is. And so we've got three really good setters in the gym, and honestly, where they stand at the moment, I couldn't tell you who's going to be the starting guy. I do believe that all three of them are capable of coming in and playing great volleyball for us and representing our team to the higher standard.
And I think we have time for one more question. Brandon, you get the honors.
Coach, I know Loyola, the name itself kind of recruits itself in the Midwest. Looking at your guys' coaching staff, all three have pretty strong Southern California roots. Can you talk about how important that's going to be for recruiting moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, just speaking about the next class, so we've got 9 guys committed, and 6 of them are from California. And I think we got 2 fantastic middle blockers from Chicago. One of the important things for us is to really be strong recruiting in the Midwest, in Chicago itself, and then up into Milwaukee, obviously. So we don't want to lose the best guys out of this area first, but if we have to go out into California, certainly our ties and our connections help. And the part of back to the guys on this team and recruiting is the California guys were like pumped to come out here because of these guys on this team and how close they are and the relationship they have. So it's not just us and our connection to California, but it's these guys and their belief in the program and their dedication to each other, which is obvious when you're around us. It's really cool.
Sorry, I actually lied. I think we probably have a question for one more. Time for one more. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah. So final question, and this is for both the Chicago guys. Coach Hawk is new to the area, so how have you been able to help integrate him into Chicago pizza? Has there been any places that you've recommended, any toppings that you've encouraged him to try?
Well, Hawks is a big, thin pizza guy. He's made that pretty clear from day one. Not quite a Lou Malnati's deep dish, but we'll get there. It's only been a couple months.
Hey, Coach, or sorry, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does a good job of kind of getting around the city anyways and trying different places and just kind of exploring on his own. He's a busy guy, but I know he gets around a little bit too.
And then, Coach, beyond the pizza, what have you liked most about being in Chicago?
I mean, obviously these guys are great, but thinking about the other stuff is having my family here and being closer to my in-laws, I think is always a good thing, at least for my wife. I don't know, there's just tremendous restaurants, and there's a great little sushi spot we found that's pretty close to the house. And, sushi's close to my heart. I love it. And yeah, glad I found this good spot. So if you're out here, I'll take you there.